ambitious economic transformation reforms under the bottom-up economic agenda and positioning itself within the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. One question that refuses to go away is, why are we still exporting raw potential instead of finished value? Now, the Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis is convening its 9th annual regional conference to confront that gap, and it will be bringing together policymakers, industry, even researchers together to see how to strengthen value chains and unlock inclusive growth within the country, which now forms the basis of our conversation today, which is advancing the development of value chains. And I'm having that conversation with Dr. Elder Onsom, who is the Executive Director, Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
How are you doing this morning?
Quite good.
Yes. Let's get into the conversation, and we'll start with matters to do with this 9th regional conference that is coming up on strengthening value chains. Why is KIPRA holding that conference?
The Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis is the think tank in Kenya. We are under the State Department for Economic Planning, which is under the National Treasury. One of our core mandates is to undertake objective public policy research and analysis. This year, we have undertaken evidence generation and objective research, which is aimed at informing policy and interventions on value chains development. This is quite important because as a nation, we are looking at interventions that enhance productivity, competitiveness, job creation, especially for the youth. Hence, the 9th KIPRA Annual Regional Conference 2026, which is themed Enhancing Value Chains Development for Sustainable Economic Development and Growth, comes in at a very critical moment when the nation is undergoing very positive economic transformation aimed at enhancing the development of the nation, job creation, ensuring that we enhance our industries, we also enhance our services, we enhance agriculture, and ensure that value is added in every product that we produce so that the economy remains resilient and also attains the economic transformation that we are looking at this given point in time.
And also, when you look at it, is it also a response in some way to productivity in key sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, or it's also a way of responding to global pressures like value chain interruptions?
In the national agenda, where we have clear direction in our Kenya Vision 2030, which is being implemented through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and the medium-term plan for value chains development is one of the priority areas of our nation. This then means, as a main think tank in the country, the Institute took it as a priority to undertake objective research, which is aimed at informing value chains development. In this objective research, the Institute has been able to look at key sectors, including agriculture, industry, digital economy, as well as the global value chains. As you are aware, no nation can enhance sustainably without exporting. Hence, as an institute, we have looked comprehensively in the aspects that we have to invest in to ensure that we remain resilient, we remain competitive, and we remain productive, both in the national level, county level, and globally.
Is that a way for KIPRA to help in, implementing a policy perspective and advancing value chain development in Kenya?
Yes, it is. And it goes deeper to enhance development at all levels of the economy. As a nation, we are guided by long-term and medium-term plans. Both of these plans have identified productivity as a key area of intervention, and hence value addition at every node of production in all the sectors of the economy, starting from agriculture, manufacturing, and emerging sectors, which include blue economy. We also have the digital space, clean energy, among others. Further, the undertaking also looks at the skills gaps and areas of skills development to take the nation to the next level of development, because as a nation and as we develop, we need high-level technology skills that will help our nation to invest and develop products that can be exported both in the regional space and also in the international space.
And how much of this, Daktari, is it about repositioning Kenya within the regional value chains, like the CFTA, and fixing domestic inefficiencies?
To a large extent, the interventions that are being proposed within the evidence we have generated identifies the key pointers and key sectors where Kenya has a comparative advantage, both in Africa and in the region. These include, for instance, investing in digital economy, in services which are quite resilient, in value addition, in the processing of our key export products, such as tea, coffee, horticultural products, among others, and in the blue economy, including the livestock. Kenya has one of the best quality of these products, which, as we invest in value addition, then we'll be able to enhance the competitiveness of the country, both at the national and the county level, while ensuring economic transformation, sustained growth, and resilience in development.
You know, Kipra produces research, but where can you, Daktari, point to policy uptake that has measurably transformed a value chain within the country?
A number of areas, starting with the coffee sector. The Institute has worked with the stakeholders in the coffee sector, which at some point was in a downward side. But as we talk, it's one of the sectors where the returns are the highest. And this was direct impact because the Institute, through its staff, was able to guide policy and also guide the stakeholders on where we need to invest in so that we are able to improve on our economic productivity in the sector. Other areas include in the digital economy, in skills development, and here we are looking at sectors and the future of work, where the Institute has identified and informed policy, including the reforms that are going on, in where we should invest in skills development to have adequate human capital for the nation at both national and county level. Another area is in the effect of trade. As you've indicated, in the African trade space, Kenya is a country to watch because our products are well attracted in terms of demand, both in the region and also locally. Another area is in the beef sector, livestock, because the quality also matters, and hence as we undertake the work which we are doing, we are giving deeper recommendations, evidence to inform practice and also enhance the interventions that the government and other stakeholders are putting in place, including the role of public-private partnerships, especially in investing in manufacturing, processing, and also job creation. Another area also is in the micro and small enterprises. From the evidence we've generated, we find that one of the main gaps when it comes to value chain processing and production is uptake of skills and uptake of new technologies. So you find the small and micro enterprises and the smallholder farmers may be lacking in terms of financial support as well as technology. And hence the evidence which we've generated informs the areas of intervention in those sectors to improve competitiveness.
And when you look at KIPRA's work, how do you bridge the gap between policy recommendation and county level implementation, because that is where most value chains now operate?
As an institute, we took it upon our mandate to ensure that we undertake research not only at the national level, but then targeted at the county level. For all the products that we are working on, we are producing county level policy briefs, whereby each county we identify at least the 3 priority products where they can focus on in terms of value chain development. And this has been going on because most of the work we have done targets both the national and the county level. We've produced policy briefs which focus on creating an enabling environment for counties, youth employment across counties, climate change across counties, and also the Public Administration Index, which looks at how the counties are performing. This is a key intervention because then our policy advisory support to the government goes beyond the national government to the county governments.
Very important. And when you look at the country, you know, we have advancement of value chain and development of the same. But how can you say the country is advancing its value chain under the current policy frameworks?
The current policy frameworks, guided by the Kenya Vision 2030, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and the medium-term plan 4, are very explicit in terms of enhancing and developing value chains in every sector and in every product. This then means the work we are doing is to support this national policy direction, which is very critical in the economic transformation of our great nation, Kenya. I go deeper to give an example of the products that are highlighted in these key documents and how they link with the work we are doing. For instance, when you look at the main cash crops, I mentioned about tea, coffee. We also have production of beef, which we export. We have production of services, particularly in the digital economy, which has also helped the economy to remain quite resilient and ensure that it's quite competitive both in the local space and also in the global space. When you look at all these products, among all the other products in the medium-term plan 4, it is very explicit that as an institution, we are contributing directly to the interventions and the policy commitments that the government has already identified.
And when you look at these frameworks, the ones you've mentioned, Vision 2030, bottom-up economic transformation agenda and others, what do you think? Are they aligned or fragmented when it comes to value chains?
They are very aligned with the value chains development, and they are also aligned with the sector policies, like in the agriculture sector, both crop production and also livestock production. And now we have the blue economy and also the green economy. And as a nation, when you look at the production processes, because in value chains, what you are focusing mainly on is what value are you adding, right from production to processing to the level of consumption. And here you look at the areas of logistics, marketing, improving the inputs, and also ensuring that when the production is ripe, it does not go to waste. Ensuring also that we have a strong circular economy whereby even the products that are wasted, they are recycled back to be productive and enhance the economy in terms of productivity, which then means as we do all this, the areas of skills development become very, very critical. And in all the policies that are being put in place, they are aligned with the provisions in value chains development.
And which value chains, from your perspective, are usually are seeing actual measurable upgrading? For instance, when it comes, is it leather, is it agro-processing, or the textiles, versus those which are stuck at raw export level?
We start with the investments in agriculture broadly. As we export and produce,
Yes.
There is effort being put in terms of processing. Take an example of our tea sector. It's a sector which is quite well represented across the country, and the products we produce and export are processed locally, which means our tea is one of the best teas in the world. And if you travel across the world, you'll find that that plant is already there. Another product is coffee. We also have our beef sector, which is related to the leather sector, which is also key because in the leather sector, you are able to process the byproducts of beef to a very high quality final product that is consumed locally and also internationally. Also, when it comes to textile, there we also have a comparative advantage. And all the crops that we produce and how they are processed, we have a comparative advantage because as they are coming out of the farm, we are able to identify the nodes where the jobs are being created, where the quality is being enhanced, and then improving their productivity so that when they go to the market, there is high value that both the producers and also the logistics team obtain, and hence enhanced competitiveness and productivity.
You know, incentivizing a local value addition is critical, especially if we are to enhance and develop value chains. So my question to you here is, are current policies incentivizing local value addition, or are we still exporting low value commodities?
The first area of incentivizing production is at the production level. And the government, with the support from various stakeholders, has enhanced this level of entry, particularly in agricultural production where the inputs such as fertilizers are provided to farmers. This is a key input because once you have high quality produce given due to the provision of fertilizers, then you remain competitive and the value addition is enhanced. After the production, then you go to the logistics where interventions have also been put with an aim of enhancing productivity and competitiveness. Then we go to the area of processing. This is where the private sector has also invested through institutions like the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, the KEPSA, among others, where the smallholder processing agencies and companies are supported. And this also touches on how you enhance the productivity through the skills required, heavy investments in machinery, ensuring that what is produced does not go to waste, and ensuring that the markets are assured, both locally and internationally, for the produce. And you know, incentivizing local value addition is important, especially when we have to talk about inclusive development, which brings me to my next question. I want you to talk about why strengthening value chains is critical for achieving inclusive development in the country. Value chains is the driver of value addition. When we talk value chains, it means you are looking at the entire chain, right from production, processing, logistics, to consumption. In every node, various activities take place. And when these activities are taking place, they demand inputs. And one of the main inputs is labor, which then means in inclusive growth and development, value chains create jobs, key jobs that are required by the economy and particularly by the youth and across the individual counties. Because if you are able to invest in the priority products where there is comparative advantage, be it in agriculture, manufacturing, or in services, then you are able to create jobs and ensure that livelihoods are improved. Another critical provision there is the capacities that are developed to ensure that as we go along the value chains, there's nobody left behind. This then brings up counties and also regions that might have been left behind due to one reason or another. Another provision there is logistics. When you look at the logistics sector, it is very key because it touches on digital space, communication, marketing, and ensuring that the produce is able to move from the point of production to the final area of consumption, which then means across all those nodes, the inclusivity and also resilience and development is enhanced through productivity and competitiveness of products.
Yeah, we also have to, within that whole sphere of inclusivity, we have to talk about SMEs and informal actors. How do we ensure that they are not locked out by standards, financing, or technology barriers?
The first entry point is ensuring that we have standards. In every product, and that's why we have institutions like the KEPS, whereby the standards are developed and enforced. These institutions ensure that whatever produce you have before it enters the market, its quality is assured. Further, investments are put in technology development, uptake, and ensuring that the entire team that is involved in the production process is kept abreast with emerging technologies. Take, for example, a sector like the blue economy, where the produce is very, very fragile and it can get spoiled within a very short time. This requires development of cooling stations, and that is an area for investment, particularly to support smallholder farmers who are in the blue economy and who are producing very high quality produce from the blue economy that can be consumed across board in the country and also able to move the same produce from the country to other parts of the region and across the globe.
And when you look at value chains and the development of the same that you are talking about, are they reducing regional inequality or deepening it? What do you think?
They are reducing regional inequality to a very big extent. As we talk here, every county has identified key drivers in terms of their products. And investing in those products simply means that you are enhancing the areas where a county has comparative advantage. And with the devolution that the country has implemented through the Constitution 2010, it has enhanced the reduction in inequalities across the country. And this is by region, by also income groups, and also categories of our population. This can be observed through the level of livelihoods. For instance, if you go across the country, you can see very many developments, right, from road construction. There's also production of construction materials, which are very key in reducing inequalities. Another area where the value chains, for instance, in digital space have enhanced reduction in inequalities is where we are investing in high-end technology skills and also technology products, as well as green energy, which is very important in production across the various value chains. This then means that development of value chains enhances development and reduces or eradicates inequalities.
And speaking of inequalities, you know, youth unemployment is something that the country has to deal with. But I would want to understand the link between value chains and youth employment? Where do they meet?
They meet right from the production process. I start with agriculture.
Yes.
Agriculture remains one of the drivers of job creation in the country, which then means looking at the value chains of production of every product. They require different skills. There are those involved in production, those involved in managing the processes, those who are involved in processing itself, and a number of youth are involved in that space. There are also youth who are involved in producing green energy, particularly like from livestock, which is a key product and input to any production process. The youth are also involved in the processing space, which is key in the various value chains, as well as in SMEs and in creation of applications, for instance, in the digital value chains, where the country is doing quite well in skills development and also in exporting the products from our digital economy.
And when you look at value chain development in the country, what can you say are the major pain points affecting that development?
The first gap is the link between producers and the consumers. And this is where logistics interventions become very, very important. For instance, when we have high levels of harvest in one part of our country, we should have strong marketing and logistics frameworks to market this product to the areas where we might be experiencing incidents like droughts or floods. Another key area of intervention is on skills uptake and technology uptake. This requires continuous skills development and continuous training of producers. To counter this, various applications are being used, particularly in the livestock sector, whereby the extension farmers can now access all the upcoming technologies in production across the various products through the digital space. That is an area for strengthening as well. Another area is to ensure that capacity is deepened and no one is left behind. There are also external shocks which come along, particularly with the geopolitical space, whereby the value chains tend to be disrupted, not only in Kenya, but across the globe. But to counter that, resilience mechanisms then become very, very important. And as a nation, the production space has ensured that the country remains resilient, and also through the services sector, where you are able to ensure continued income generation and improve the livelihoods that are sustainable.
You know, KIPRA has convened the 9th Regional Conference on Value Chain Development in Kenya. What do you aim to achieve from this?
The 9th KIPRA Annual Regional Conference, which will be taking place between 20th and the 22nd of May 2026 in Mombasa County, is one of its kind. This is a conference that is going to bring together key stakeholders in various value chains that are priority in the nation, across the national and the county governments. The conference is going to bring together stakeholders from the government, private sector, non-state actors, development partners, and also the smallholder farmers and institutions, as well as the youth. The aim first is to ensure that we provide a very robust and productive space for dialogue, whereby the various stakeholders and participants will be exchanging, discussing evidence that they have generated to inform policy. This then will lead to informing objective interventions to improve productivity, competitiveness, job creation, resilience, poverty reduction in the country. In the long term, it is aimed that the interventions that we'll come up with will not only create quality jobs for the youth, but also improve productivity and competitiveness of our great nation across the various value chains that we'll be focusing on.
What are the areas that you'll be focusing on? Is it agriculture, manufacturing, digital economy? Which specific areas will this conference be addressing?
The conference will be addressing all the value chains as spelled out in the medium-term plan 4. This starts from production in agriculture, in manufacturing, in services. We'll be looking at the areas of policy and legislative frameworks, areas of data, artificial intelligence, and the various ecosystems that relate to the digital economy. We'll be looking at the blue economy, green energy, and the green sector. We shall also be looking at human capital development and skills development for the various value chains. We'll go further to look at key products, for instance, the cash crops like tea, coffee. We have livestock as well. We also have products that are indigenous in nature, but very key, like vegetables. We'll go further to look at the trade, the global trade, the wholesale and retail value chains. We look at the role of smallholder farmers as well as the micro and small enterprises. We'll also look at the areas of the creative economy, the media, as well as knowledge sharing, and where we should put more emphasis on to ensure that the knowledge we also create has been supported to ensure that impact is felt across board, both at the national and the county level. We'll also look at the areas of the grey economy, which I've indicated is on the digital space, which is very important, and how to uptake technologies across the various nodes of the value chains that we'll be discussing.
And also, when you look at private sector and the county government, how are you going to incorporate them into actual decision making, not just on participation aspect?
That is an ongoing process. In every work that we do at the Institute, we engage with the stakeholders. Mm-hmm. As we are working on this evidence we have generated, it was generated from the counties and also from the various stakeholders, both the public and the private. Mm-hmm. So the stakeholders are already involved in evidence generation. We do hold workshops, seminars, where we discuss these preliminary findings, and we ensure that for each sector, the key stakeholders are invited to attend and even propose the areas of intervention, which then means the conference will be bringing together these stakeholders to come to a convergence in the policy interventions, the programs that we have to then implement from the evidence we have generated, and also the way forward, which means we work with the various stakeholders right from the design of our work all the way to the conclusion, dissemination, and also implementation and the design of interventions. Mm-hmm.
Are there tangible outcomes and long-term impacts that you hope will come from this conference?
One of the tangible output will be the communique that we'll be producing. This is a way of communicating the decisions from the stakeholders who will be attending the conference. This communique will be shared with all the stakeholders, and it will highlight the responsibility holders and the action areas and areas of intervention. We'll then be able to use this evidence, which will be coming from the research we've done and also from the discussions, to ensure that we identify areas, for instance, for capacity development, and the stakeholders who will be coming will also be encouraged to pick areas and recommendations to design their own interventions for productivity enhancement, competitiveness, and also in the areas of intervention, particularly in job creation and ensuring that the economy remains resilient. In the long term, we envisage that this work is going to be a game changer in terms of enhancing productivity of our nation, reducing poverty, ensuring that we remain resilient in the regional and also in the global space, ensuring that we create jobs, especially for the youth, and also ensuring that as we do production processes, we reduce on wastage and ensure that all that we produce is contributing to the sustainable development of our great nation, Kenya.
Is there a way that you will track whether the outcome of this 9th annual conference will actually lead to export growth, job creation, or value chain addition? Are there metrics that you will use to gauge on those aspects based on the outcomes of the conference?
In the various pieces of work we have done, and under each research evidence, we have an area where we focus on policy recommendations, implications, and the action area, which then means as we go to the conference and what we'll be coming up with, we shall be able to continuously engage with the stakeholders, both at the national and the county level, to see what has been implemented and the uptake level, whereas we ensure that we create impact at the areas where we have focused on in the research, in the policy design, and also in the implementation space. And
as we close, what is your call to action to stakeholders who are participating in this upcoming conference?
First, the call of action is, as a nation, the value chains have greatest potential of unlocking our sustainable development opportunities, and the opportunities are enormous. Job creation is also being created through the areas we are focused on. I also want to urge all those who will be participating, both at the ground, when we'll be on the ground, and also those who will be watching the content that we are developing, that you pick at least one area of intervention so that we are able to enhance productivity in your area of specialization for the benefit of our great nation through enhanced competitiveness, productivity, and job creation.
Thank you so much, Daktari, for making time to come and talk about this issue. We have been speaking to Dr. Elda Onsomo, who is the Executive Director, Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis, about matters of advancing the development of value chain within the country. That will be covered in the upcoming 9th annual conference that will be happening in Mombasa later this month.